Welcome back, Shark Kings. It is October, it is spooky season, and PS Plus recently dropped some great horror games. We have Alan Wake 2 as a monthly game. We're getting Silent Hill 2 in just a few days. And we just got Last of Us Part 2 last month as well. But I'm not here to talk about these long, epic games. This is a short games channel after all. So today we're going to be looking at 10 horror games you can beat in under 10 hours. Gems you might have missed because the big boys take all the spotlight. We will start the video with the latest and greatest, meaning the most recent games that got added with the highest Metacritic ratings. Now, to trim off the fat off the list, we've removed anything zombies. So sorry to The Last of Us, Days Gone, Dead Island, Back 4 Blood, and all the other zombie games. Maybe you'll get your own video, zombies. So let's get started with a brand new game that you've heard about, but you probably haven't even bothered to download it yet. Crow Country. Crow Country is a game that looks like it came out in the late 90s, but actually came out in 2024. It scored an 84 on Metacritic, and you can beat it in anywhere from 5 to 9 hours. It is vintage survival horror. You play as Mara Forrest, an investigator searching for the missing owner of an abandoned amusement park called Crow Country. It is a modern Resident Evil 1. The game deliberately leans into the low-poly aesthetics of the late 90s PlayStation 1 horror games, which means we got limited ammo, save points marked by fire, clunky tank controls, and outdated looking textures and lighting effects. The entire game takes place in this one interconnected location. You can go back and forth as much as you like to look for clues that you might have missed, and the game is very generous about telling you what you've missed or clues you haven't solved yet. What makes the first RE games much more scarier than the more modern games was the terrible tank controls. Instead of just aiming for a headshot like modern games, you had to take out your gun and slowly move it left and right and then up and down to line up your shot. This created so much tension, and it was often much easier to run away from the danger than try to shoot it. Add to this the scarcity of ammo, and yeah, you'll be thinking real hard about whether it's actually worthwhile to shoot right now. The core gameplay loop consists of exploring the park, solving environmental puzzles, managing your resources, avoiding traps, and fighting when you have to, all the while trying to piece together the mystery to find out why this place is cursed. The story unfolds through notes, environmental storytelling, and conversations with other lost souls trapped in the park with you. It is dark, atmospheric, and the narrative payoff is worth it. Who is this for? If you want modern graphics and modern controls and hate backtracking or slower pacing, this might not be it for you. But this is for you if you love retro survival horror. If you grew up on the PlayStation 1 Resident Evil games or Silent Hill, this is your game. If you like the puzzles and mysteries but want the combat to be calmed down, there's even an exploration mode where enemies and traps are turned off. If you want the classic RE mode, then turn on survival mode or go to Murder of Crows. This one is not brand new, but I'm putting it in the front because there's a chance it might leave next month. Killer Frequency is a first-person horror game that takes place entirely in a radio station. No weapons, no running and shooting, just you, a microphone, and a serial killer on the loose. It has 82 on Metacritic, and it takes anywhere from 5 to 12 hours. This game can take up to 12 hours because of the trophies. For example, you gotta finish the whole game under 4 hours with all the callers surviving. But also, there's a trophy for nobody surviving. Personally, I beat it just under 6 hours, but it'll be up to you and your gameplay style. From Mara Forrest to Forrest Nash. What's with the name Forrest in these indie horror games? Anyways, you play as Forrest Nash, a radio DJ who just moved to a small town in 1987. It's your first night on air and the local police infrastructure is compromised. The small town 911 dispatcher has to leave her station and has left you in charge. Her calls are rerouted to you, so not only are you going to be debuting your DJ skills for the first time, taking in requests, but now you have to play 911 operator and take in the calls as well. The core gameplay is basically this. Listeners will call in and either it'll be silly and request a song, or a radio call can be serious because it's a 911 call. Those who call in survive based on whether you were able to decipher the clues in time or not. So you're either playing ads, doing annoying radio sound effects, or finding different records to play, or you're actually trying to save a life. It's almost like an escape room. You have to look around the station for clues that the staff or previous workers who knew the town better had left, and you have to use this information to help the callers that are calling in. The police are gone. Phone lines are your only connection to see what's happening outside inside and the killer is listening too. In what other games do you get to be a DJ in a booth and press all those fun buttons? It's really unique in the sense that you are not the one being chased, or exploring in person or in danger for that matter. Instead, you're guiding others via a phone call and branching conversations. It's campy horror with a side of comedy. This is for the gamer who loves a narrative dialogue-driven game more than direct action. If you love escape room style puzzles that you have to solve with a tense timer, you will love it. INDIKA. I'm not sure if this one qualifies as horror, but it's psychological horror, and it just came out, so let's throw that in there. This just came out last month, and you've probably already seen the cover art. It's very unique. INDIKA has a rating of 81 on the PS5 and can be beaten between 4 to 5 hours. It's a psychological horror game set in the 19th century in Russia, where you play as a nun who hears the voice of the devil. And the scariest part is you don't know if he's real or if you're losing your mind. I don't want to say too much about this game because it is recommended to go in blind, but let's try anyway, so this one will be very short. The gameplay is exploration and puzzle solving, but the real game is what's happening inside your head. You navigate surreal dreamscapes and make choices that blur the line between salvation and damnation. What makes this unique is its pure psychological horror. There's no jump scares or monsters chasing you or scarce ammo, just a slow creeping dread as reality fractures around you. The game shifts between stark realism to fever dream surrealism without any warning. Visually, it's stunning. The horror comes from not knowing what's real and what's coming next. Who is it for? Well, if you want to try something different and love these visuals that you're seeing. That's all I'm really going to say about it. It's best to know as little as possible. Let's just move on. Okay, now we move on from the recommended newer games to shift focus to ones that have been on the catalog for quite a while. Now here's where I need to stop you. This next game on the list, no one's talking about, and that's a crime. I just did 2 polls recently on which games should be October's game of the month, and both on YouTube and Reddit, this one was the least voted on. It seems like no one knows how great this game is. So because it's an underrated gem amongst underrated gems, I'm going to have to shine a spotlight on it and make it my editor's choice for this video. Imagine Blade Runner meets Silent Hill. Cyberpunk detective noir, where the horror doesn't come from monsters, it comes from diving into the nightmares of dead junkies. That's right. This is Observer System Redux, and it might be the scariest game on this list. What's the core gameplay loop? You're a cybernetic neural detective in 2084 Poland. What does that mean? Well, you're a detective with cyber abilities. The coolest ability being that you can plug in and hack into recently deceased cyber-enhanced bodies and tap into their dreams. You get to experience their final memories from their point of view. Dun, dun, dun. The gameplay is pure investigation. You interrogate tenants in a decaying apartment building by knocking on doors and asking the right question. And when you get lucky enough to find an open door, you usually find a clue or you find a fresh corpse. And this is where the game shines. After you plug into this corpse, this game's creativity will break you. You'll be treated to some of the trippiest visuals in video games. They are literally fever dreams. No guns, no weapons, no control, just you trapped inside a junkie's collapsing mind as reality warps around you. Here's the thing about horror games. The more control you have, the less scary they are. You've got a shotgun, flashlight, health packs, your character is well equipped, the fear starts to fade. This game gives you nothing. You're just a detective with a neural implant, talking, investigating, and puzzle solving. And when those dream sequences kick in, walls breathing, hallways stretching into infinity, body horror that makes your skin crawl, you have no idea where they're gonna go. You just go along for the ride. This is an older game, but visually, honestly, this game is stunning sometimes. 4K textures, particle effects. This was built for next gen. Oh, also, I wasn't kidding about the Blade Runner connection. There's a hidden Easter egg that lets you replay an iconic scene from the original movie. And your character is voiced by Rutger Hauer, the guy who played the replicant in the original Blade Runner. This is his final role before he passed. They cast him specifically for that connection. It is perfect. So if you want the Blade Runner atmosphere, the Silent Hill dread, and pure psychological horror with no safety net, this is it for you. You can beat it in 7 and platinum it in 14. Metacritic rating, it got a 77 for the PS5. And the next game on the list is a cult classic, Until Dawn. This game proved that horror games could be blockbuster entertainment. It is the only AAA game on this list. It is an 8-hour interactive horror movie where every choice matters. Now, when I made this video, I was talking about the original 2015 version, but lucky us, the PS5 version is finally here on PS Plus Extra this month. The game features a butterfly effect system in which players' choices change the story. Any character can survive or die depending on the choices you make. And yes, there is permadeath. The game's narrative won't let you change your mind. It will continue forward without that character, and the strict autosave system prevents players from reloading a previous file to prevent cheating. There are hundreds of endings based on the outcome of 22 critical choices you make in the game. You control 8 friends who return to a remote mountain lodge 1 year after a tragic incident. They're there to honor their missing friend, but something is hunting them in the woods. The game switches between all 8 characters throughout the night, and you're making split-second choices that determine who survives until dawn. It's real-time pacing if you think about it, i.e. it's a game that takes place from dusk until dawn, and it literally takes 8 hours to finish. The first unique thing you'll see in the game are the faces. You might recognize a lot of the faces in the game because they're real actors. There's Hayden from Heroes, Rami Malek from the Queen movie, some girls from Shameless, but gameplay-wise, the butterfly effect system is what sets Until Dawn apart. Every choice ripples forward. A decision you make in Hour 2 can save or doom a character in Hour 7. The game tracks hundreds of variables, and relationships between characters change based on your dialogue choices. The gameplay loop is basically you explore environments as different characters in third person, you find clues and collectibles, you make dialogue choices that affect relationships, and you survive QuickTime events during chase sequences. And you make major decisions under time pressure that determine life or death. The atmosphere builds slowly from teen drama to genuine horror. This is for you if you love story-driven horror games with branching narratives, and games that feel like interactive movies. If you want meaningful choices with real consequences, or if you enjoy horror that builds dread slowly before going full terror, Until Dawn delivers. It's about 8 hours to beat and 79 on Metacritic, and it's on PS Plus Extra right now, the 2015 version. The PS5 remake is coming this Tuesday on PS Plus Extra, so you'll get to replay this, but with better graphics. And the next game on the list is similar but even more Hollywood, if you can believe that. It's called Erica. When I first booted up this game, I thought, wow, this is some of the best graphics I've ever seen. It's so realistic. Why does this game have such a low rating of 69? As soon as the human characters showed up, I realized this wasn't computer graphic. This is an interactive movie. Real actors, real sets, no motion capture. It's not a typical video game. You play as Erica, a woman haunted by her father's murder. There's weird, creepy symbols and body horror, and the same imagery is repeated throughout. More and more bodies start appearing with the same ritualistic symbol from her childhood nightmares. She slowly gets pulled into a mystery involving a secretive cult and a psychiatric facility. It is insane, literally. What makes Erica unique, aside from the great graphics, interactive movie, is the touchpad control system. On PlayStation, you use the touchpad. Opening drawers, lighting cigarettes, flipping through documents. And at one point, you could use your phone for these same touchpad controls, but I've looked and looked and the app is long gone. I can't find it. The branching narrative has multiple endings based on who you trust and what you uncover. So it's similar to Until Dawn in a way, but not as involved. The production quality is legit cinematic. It looks like something you'd see on Netflix. The gameplay is mainly making choices. You'll decide who Erica talks to, what she investigates, if she goes left or right, and how she responds under pressure. Some choices are timed, so if you hesitate too long, the choice is made for you. There are no fail states. You can't die or get a game over, but your choices determine where the story goes. And the tension builds consistently towards the finale, but unlike Until Dawn, you don't have to wait another 8 hours to see the different ending. This game is pretty short, so retrying it isn't a big deal. Erica is for you if you love story-driven thrillers with mystery and conspiracy. And also, if you're curious about FMV games and these touchpad controls. That has a terrible rating on Metacritic, and it only takes 2-3 hours to finish. Is it scary? Well, it's just as scary as any other psychological horror movie you'd find on Netflix or something. But this one, you get to play along and use touchpad controls. So yeah, pretty neat game. Almost everybody ignored it. Can I even call it a game though? Alright, so both those games were pretty old, but that formula stayed true for a few years, and the Dark Picture Anthology games kept it going pretty much every year since then. Personally, this one's my favorite, Little Hope. This one is from 2020. Little Hope is a cinematic horror game where 5 college students are trapped in a fog-covered ghost town. It is 5 hours long and every choice you make determines who survives, just like all these other games. This is Until Dawn's spiritual successor. Same studio, same butterfly effect system, but with a darker, more supernatural twist. You play as 5 characters whose bus crashed outside the abandoned town of Little Hope. As they search for help, they're pulled into visions of a 1692 witch trial, where people who look exactly like them were executed. The game jumps between present day and the past, and you slowly realize that the 2 timelines are connected. What makes Little Hope unique is the dual timeline structure, and the decisions in 1692 affect what happens in 2020. The trait system tracks how you played each character. Were they brave or reckless? Compassionate or selfish? These traits influence dialogue options and how characters react under pressure. The actual gameplay, when you get to it, you can't skip all these cutscenes, is third-person exploration. There's quick-time events and decision-making. You will investigate the town, find clues about what happened in 1692, and make choices that ripple through both timelines. The Keep Calm mechanic replaces Until Dawn's Don't Move mechanic when characters are terrified. You have to time your button presses to their heartbeat, or they panic and die. It's simple but effective. Fair warning, the ending is divisive. Some people love the twist, others hated it, but the journey to get there is tense, atmospheric, and worth experiencing. Personally, I loved it. It tied everything with a nice bow. Was it predictable? Sure, but I think they pulled it off well. Little Hope is for you if you loved Until Dawn and want more from the same studio, and also if you're into witch trials and supernatural mystery. Alright, I know the last few games were all very similar, so let's get back to a proper video game instead of a playable movie. Outlast 2 is pure survival horror. It's a first-person video game that you play actively, not watch passively. There's no combat, no weapons, and no mercy. The only thing you have is a camera. You're a reporter investigating a murder in the desert, and the next thing you know, you're in cult country. Not to be confused with crow country. You can't fight back, you can only run and hide. The only power you have is the camera itself. You can zoom in and out on things, and you have night vision. There we go. But this camera has some of the worst batteries I've ever seen. You'll constantly be replenishing them. And it's a good thing this random hick town in the desert carries the exact same camera battery in their dwellings that you need. How lucky are you? When your helicopter crashes, you get separated from your wife and partner. She's the reporter, you're the cameraman. But your search is quickly over because now you're the one being hunted by a doomsday cult. The story jumps between present-day cult horror and psychological flashbacks to your traumatic Catholic school childhood. The two narratives intertwine. What makes Outlast 2 unique is the complete powerlessness. You can only run and hide. You have no weapons. No way to fight back. Your only tool is the camera to collect evidence with the hope that you'll survive, and the night vision ability so you can see the danger before it sees you. The religious horror is disturbing. This isn't jump scares, it's sustained dread. The cult's rituals, the twisted interpretation of Christian scripture, the violence, it's all designed to make you deeply uncomfortable. And the sound design is immersive. Your camera's microphone even picks up audio clues that tell you when the danger is near. You'll hear footsteps, whispers, screams in the distance. Playing this game with headphones is terrifying. The gameplay is largely stealth, evasion, and resource management. You'll sneak through cornfields, abandoned mines, and cult compounds while enemies patrol a few feet away from you. If they spot you, you run. If they catch you, you die. Your camera's night vision drains battery, so you're constantly scavenging for more batteries. The pacing is relentless. There are quiet moments to catch your breath, but they never last. Just when you think you're safe, the game throws another nightmare at you. It's exhausting, but in the best way. So Outlast 2 is for you if you want pure, unfiltered horror with no power fantasy. If you love stealth and evasion over combat, and if you can handle disturbing religious imagery and extreme violence. Has a 78 on Metacritic and 8 to 10 hours to finish. This one is the most intense, most unforgiving game on the list. If you want horror that doesn't let you fight back, Outlast 2 will break you down. Transference is a psychological horror game where you explore the digital consciousness of a broken family. It only takes 2 hours to beat and has a rating of 71. The whole game takes place inside a corrupted simulation. The simulation is constructed from random brain data of all the family members. As you move through their home, discover their secrets, and collect evidence they need to repair their lives. It's digital horror, sort of like a soft version of Observer. We got glitching memories, corrupted data, and a family that's trapped inside their own minds. What exactly is it? Well, you're investigating a consciousness transfer experiment that has gone wrong. A scientist uploaded his family's minds into a digital simulation to fix them, but something corrupted the data. So you get to explore the same apartment from 3 perspectives: the father, the mother, and the son. Each version of the apartment reveals different memories, different trauma, and different pieces of what went wrong. The gameplay is first-person exploration and puzzle solving. Ideally, this was for VR, but if you don't have VR, it's totally passable. You'll search the apartment for clues, you solve puzzles that require switching between perspectives, and piece together the mystery of the family. It's disorienting by design. You're never sure what's real and what's corrupted data. The pacing is slow and atmospheric, but not too slow because the whole game is only 2 hours. Transference is for you if you love psychological horror, into experimental storytelling, and you want something short and weird that takes creative risks. Alright, so that's 9 games under 10 hours, but there's one more that I need to tell you about. When people say hidden gems, they usually mean underrated, but this one literally is a hidden gem, with emphasis on the hidden. It's called the Backrooms, but it's really hard to find. You're not going to find it here. It should be between the Ascent and the Dark Pictures, but it's not here. This is how hidden the game is. It is actually right here. It is a game within a game. This game is called Dreams. It's kind of like Little Big Planet in a weird way, where users will create the content. So you can choose to make a game or play a game that users have made. It's sort of like Roblox in a way. So you can see there's a bunch of Super Mario games here, even a Sonic game. And somebody even made Fallout 4 in Dreams. And honestly, it looks pretty good, but this is not about Fallout. This is not what we're going to be talking about. So this game we will have to search for. So because the Backrooms concept is so popular in internet culture, there's going to be plenty of games here. See, these games have like 100 likes, 200 likes. No, 28k likes. That's the one we want. It is called The Backrooms by Marshall's Account. But instead of telling you about it like the other games, we're just going to look at some gameplay. Like this has got to look pretty bad, right? The Backrooms. The game starts off with a tutorial, and it looks pretty good. It kind of reminds me of Abiotic Factor a little bit. So once you grab the hazmat suit, it looks like this. So how this game approaches the Backrooms, it's kind of like Stranger Things vibe. It's almost like the Upside Down in a weird way, and you'll see in a second. So similar to Stranger Things, we start off with a portal. And where does this portal lead? Oh wait, this room seems pretty normal. And there we go, that is the Backrooms. So the big door opens and we're treated into the Backrooms. But this is where this game gets a little bit different. Follow this green line and it takes us to here. Now it's like 3D Backrooms. We get to go up and down. The whole point of the Backroom is getting lost in a maze. So using colored ropes helps us retrace our steps. Let's jump in and see what we find. So this is where this Backroom game does its own thing. This looks like just the neighborhood I grew up in. So suddenly we're in this weird like upside down world of the world we're familiar with. So just like the previous games, you get to make a choice. So let's choose yes. What's in this door? All right, really weird, really strange. All right, you guys stay put. I'm gonna open this door. So this is what the game is like. It is just terror, running away from things. Oh God, he's behind me, go! Anyway, that's all you're going to get. I still can't believe that this game was made by gamers and is not a AAA, AA, or even a single A for that matter. It is definitely a hidden gem. Go play it. Tell me what you think of it. Do you recommend it? Or do you think it's dumb? So there you have it. 10 short horror games that are under 10 hours. Perfect for October. From retro throwbacks to religious horror to cyberpunk and basically playable movies, there's something there for everybody. Some of them take under 2 hours. I know this month we got spoiled with Alan Wake 2, The Last of Us 2, and now Silent Hill 2. So if you love horror, you're probably jumping into those to get your money's worth. But if you've already played them or you don't have the time for a big game right now, these 10 short games will at least respect your time. There are many more great games I wanted to talk about, but the short runtime was was the focus here. If I missed a game, drop it in the comments. Another quick shout out to a hidden gem is play Far Cry 6, and there is a Stranger Things DLC in there. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe if you love short games and you want to see more. And until next time, be a friend, and I'll see you again.